All right, hello folks. We are going to log into Office 365 and we are going to take a look around. So go ahead and go to www.office365.com and you'll see the Microsoft Office file here. The web page, we're going to sign in. You can sign in with your EPASD login. And once you are logged in, you should see this screen. It'll say good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on what time you're working on this. And you'll see up here at the top, you'll have all of your different programs, the things that you're able to do with Office 365. So we've got Outlook, which is our mail service. We've got OneDrive, which is where we will be storing some things. Of course, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and then a couple of other things here. We're actually going to go ahead and open Excel. So you can just hover over and click on Excel. And for today, we're just going to go ahead and take the tour. Now, I know a couple of you have already done this, but just indulge me a little bit. Let's go ahead and do that again. So we'll click Take the Tour. And it takes a minute to load up. But then you will see, first of all, that we have our file name right now is Book2, and it is saved to OneDrive, and we'll take a look at OneDrive in just a minute. Go ahead right now, and we're going to change the name of Book2. So we'll click on that, and you'll see that we can select and rename. So we're going to name this Excel Tour, and then just put your last name. Hit enter, and you'll see now that our file name has changed. It is saved to OneDrive. Everything that we do here will be saved to OneDrive automatically, but we will go ahead and take a look at that in a second. So we're going to start our tour. It tells us to scroll down to start. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down to this first section, Add Numbers Like a Champ. And we'll go ahead and follow these 4 instructions. So over here we've got our work area. This is the information that we're using in numbers 1 through 4. So we've got our fruits and we've got our numbers or our counts of fruits. And what we're going to do is we're going to select the first yellow cell, which is E18. It doesn't look tremendously yellow here, but it's this cell down here at the bottom. So we'll select that. And it says to double tap or double click to start editing. I have found you don't need to double click if you don't want to. You can just start typing, and under number 3 we see type equals sum E15 to E17 and press enter. So that's what we're going to enter here, equals sum parentheses E15 colon E17 close parentheses, and we'll hit enter. And you'll see that we have our total for all of our fruits down here at the bottom, 130. So that's 50, plus 20 is 70, plus 60 is 130. So that gives us our result here. Now, over to the right, you'll see a keyboard trick right here. It says on some external keyboards, pressing Alt and equals will give you the sum formula, just like that. So we're going to click into this box here, and we're going to hold down our Alt key and hit our equals key. And when we do that, you'll see that our addition area, our sum area, gets highlighted here. You'll see our formula equals sum H15 to H17. We're in column H, and we're in row 17. We hit enter, and again, that gives us our total. So you can either type in the formula or you can do an alt equals if you're going to do a sum. That will give you the same result. So number 2, we're going to try something different. We're going to go down to this yellow cell again, or whatever color it is on your screen. And we're going to type equals sum if, and then the rest of this formula. So let's type that in, equals sum if, open parentheses, E21, colon, E23, comma, and then we're going to use quotation mark, and the greater than key, which should be shift period. We'll type 50. We'll close our parentheses and close our quote, close our parentheses and hit enter. And you'll see this time our total doesn't come up to what should be 160 because we have excluded anything where the number is less than 50. So we're looking for numbers greater than 50 only. The only number greater than 50 on our list is 100, so that's going to give us our total down here at the bottom. And that might be useful if you're looking for maybe some significant numbers, some things where you want to track maybe sales for somebody, you want to track some sort of numbers where they're only looking for numbers over a certain amount. So we're going to scroll down now. We're going to come down to split cells with flash fill, and we're going to learn about this a little bit more in our Excel chapter. But we're just going to kind of go through these steps. I want to show you what Excel can do, some of the kind of crazy and awesome things that it can do for you so that you don't have to work as hard. You can work smarter and not harder. So you'll see that the cell in the second column is the name. So we have name points in the first column, and those are separated by this comma. And we just have the name column and the points column. And what we can do is we can fill down in this column all of the names from the first column. So we're going to select Nancy, and we're going to click and hold on that cell, and we're going to drag down to the bottom. So again, we're going to click and hold on that cell, and we're going to drag to the bottom to select all of these cells. Now up here at the top on our ribbon, you'll see data. We're going to click data, and over here under our data tools, we're going to click flash fill. After we click flash fill, you'll see that all of the names have been pulled from this left column over to this center column. And what Excel does is that it's looking for similarities in your data. So we had Nancy up here, and we selected Nancy, and we dragged all the way down. And what we've told Excel to do with our flash fill is we've told it to find anything that looks similar to a name or a word, right? So we've got a word, and then we've got some other things over here. We only want the words. So we've got Nancy, Joe, Mark, Sue, Tim, and Eve, and they are now filled in. And we can do the same thing over here under our points. So we'll select 500, and we'll click and hold, drag all the way down, click flash fill again, and now you'll see that our numbers from the left column fill down nicely into the other column. Sorry, that was my phone. So these are some things, again, that you can do with Excel. We'll learn more about them later in our chapter. But right now we're going to go down, we're going to slide down to our next section here on this file. And we're going to talk about filtering our data. So sometimes we'll have a whole bunch of data, like you'll see here, all of these classes and the buildings that the classes are held in and how many students are in the class. And we have all of this stuff. Maybe we only want to look at a certain segment of the information. So we can do that by using a filter. So if I come over to, let's say, well, any letter here really in this column. And I click on it. And I come up, make sure I click data. We're already on data, but I'll click it again just in case. And I click filter. And when I do that, notice that now next to my headings, to the right of each of my headings, you'll see an arrow. Each of those arrows will give us different selections. So we're going to click on the building arrow. And we want to filter, and filter's all the way down here at the bottom. So we'll click filter. And what you'll notice is that every instance of a different entry is listed here. And the default is that everything is selected. So what we're going to do is we're going to deselect all by clicking the check mark next to select all, so everything disappears. And then we are only going to check A. We'll click OK. And now you'll notice that all of our B building information has disappeared. I can see all of the classes that are in building A, and I can even see all of the students, or at least the counts of the students that are in each of those classes. Now if I want my data back, all I need to do is come up here again next to building, and you'll see now it has a little filter icon. I'll just click that, and I can come down and clear filter from building, and it brings all of my data back again. Now another thing that we can do, if you take a look over here under this little extra credit box, try selecting a filter button from a column and then sort in the order that you like. So let's say, for example, we want to sort by subject and we want it to be alphabetical. So we can click the filter and sort button. And this time we're going to sort ascending. We want everything in alphabetical order from A to Z. So we'll click sort ascending. And you'll see all of our data sorted. So algebra, all of the information moved up. The student information moved up. So now we know algebra is in building B, and it's got 25 students. So that is sorting, that is filtering, and again, we'll learn more about that as we go through chapter 3. We're going to come down now to use tables for lists and data. So we're on row 66 in this file. And we're going to create a table based on this information. So our category, it looks like we're working in some sort of a restaurant, and we've got quarterly sales, and we want that in a table so it might be a little bit easier to read. So I can click any cell within the data. So I'll click here, and then I'll come up to Insert up on our ribbon. So we have File, Home, Insert, and we see here the Table button. So the data for your table is in these ranges, so it knows automatically what range I'm looking for. And I tell it, yes, my table has headers, it has those titles at the top, so I'm going to click OK. And now you'll see that things look a little bit different. So we have highlighting on our cells that have our titles to kind of separate them from everything else. And you'll also notice that we automatically get our filter and sort buttons back. So in cell D74 under salads, type some text and press enter. I'm sorry, under salads, not at salads. So let's see, we sell, drinks. And you'll notice now that a brand new row is formed. The new row is shaded. And in cell G67, G and 67, we can also add a column. So we'll type total. Again, we get the automatic formatting. We get our filter and sort button. And you'll notice that a new column is created. So what I want you to do is go ahead and put in your sums for this entire column. So if you remember how to do that, you can either type in the formula equals sum E68 to F68, or I can hit Alt, type Enter, and again, you'll notice after I do this one formula, the formulas fill down all the way. And we can reformat this data so that it is in money format like the others. We'll look at that some other time. But for now, this is tables. We'll learn about those as we go through our Excel chapter. Now we're going to take a look at charts. So again, we're going to select any cell within our data. We're going to click on Insert again, up here at the top. And we want to insert a column. So right here, you'll see column, and what that is, that's a column chart. And you can select any one of these. I kind of like this one. And you'll see now that you have a chart that appears that gives us all of the information. We're going to have to kind of move this over a little bit so that we can see. So you'll see that we have our attendance on the left-hand side, and we have each day running across the bottom, and we can match our data, 500 on day 1, 800 on day 2, and so forth. Now, you noticed that when you put a chart into Excel, it will go pretty much wherever it wants to go. So it covered up all of our data. And we will want to either move this chart away from our data so that we can see it, or we're going to create actually a new work page so that we can have just the chart in that page. We're not going to do that now. We'll do that when we go through our chapter. But that is creating charts. And we're not going to go through the chart tools and the data labels and things like that right now. We're going to just go ahead and be happy with that. And we're going to go ahead and skip Explore More Charts. So go ahead and scroll up to the top. So we're finished with this, and we can hit File. And you'll see that there is no save because OneDrive automatically saves as we go. Now we could save as, if you wanted to save this as your H drive, which is where we have been keeping all of our information up till now. If you want to remain consistent with that, you can go ahead and do a save as. And you can do a download a copy to your computer. When it downloads, save that as or in your H drive. But you can also keep it just in OneDrive, and you should be able to find it to be able to post to Google Classroom. Okay? So what I'd like for you to do is to go into Google Classroom at this time. I have posted an assignment out to the classroom where you can turn this worksheet in. Once you get it turned in, you are finished with this module. Take care.